Hey garden friends, welcome back. We are going to plant up some irises. I got these in a month ago and I need to get them in the ground and I just haven't been there yet. So we're going to do that. I'm going to show you how I plant my irises, my bearded irises, and they will do beautifully. And yeah, I got a lot of them, so I'm just going to show with you how I do it and how I do a little bit of fall cleanup on the irises I already have in the ground. So let's get rolling. So first off, I'm going to open up my package, which I pulled the staples out, and they have their little instruction booklets. And it says two. I bought two from Shriners. One of them was a replacement for one that the gophers ate that I absolutely loved, and it's called Main Street, I'm pretty sure. Let me look at this. Yes, Main Street. And the other one, they sent Lovely Senorita, and it's substituted for Idol. Doggone. I probably checked that it was okay to substitute. They usually have a checkbox when you order whether or not you want a substitute if the one you ordered was out of stock or something. So I had Idol ordered and this says substitute for Idol. So Lovely Senorita. I think that's how it works. Let me look at the text. Okay, Main Street. Main Street, yes, this was like one of my favorites. Now usually I get a much bigger rhizomes from Shriners. This one's kind of little, but that's okay. They do great. It'll take off. I've had them a little too long in the box because I got them and everything's been so crazy. I haven't had time to get out in the garden. And then this one is Lovely Senior. Oh, for Lovely Senior, they sent me Idol. Okay, it's an interesting color. It's not one I would have ordered, but it may be beautiful. Sometimes I'm totally surprised. I'll look up what Lovely Senorita was, and it was probably a color I don't have or anything close. What they sent me is something I have something similar to, but it's all good, all good. So I'm going to go get these planted along with the ones that I have that I got from Horton's Iris Farm. Now, I picked those up end of August, so I'm really behind in getting those. They're sitting in a paper bag. But when we went there to pick them up, because it's right here in Loomis, California, which is a couple hours drive from me, and I could have had them shipped to me. It probably would have been cost savings, but I just thought it would be a neat drive to go out there in the fall and see what was blooming. And not only did I get mine that I had ordered, but they had tons that they had extras of. They had some they were giving away, which I picked a couple of those up. I didn't pick up all of them because that would be greedy. So I just picked up a couple of the free ones. And then they had a bunch that were marked way down, like $3 a piece or whatever, because they had excess. So I couldn't resist. So I bought a bunch more. Now, the problem, I have to find a place to put them. But I know where I want to put these, so I'm going to go do that. And then I'm going to walk around and see what I need to do to make room for the others I bought from Horton's. So let's get to planting these. The roots are pretty short, so I don't think I need to cut them at all. And we'll get them in the ground. So let's go. So to get started down here, first of all, I'm going to set them in this bath of organic Rev and water. And this is a root growth stimulant, and that's what you want to get growing is the roots. I'm not concerned about top growth. I want the roots to get well established. So I'm going to put my Main Street right here. This is the entrance garden. This is a great area that I can keep a close eye on it, make sure no gophers are getting it. And the other one I had was in this bed and it did beautifully. But it's such an outstanding color, coloration combination that I loved it. So I'm going to have to take out this zinnia, the white zinnia, and that way I can keep a close eye on, and I don't have to worry about it. I can keep a close eye on the rhizome growing. I need to finish one thought before I start another. And I don't have to worry about the zinnia blocking the light or taking up the water that it needs. Okay, there's one there, one there. Let's see, I'm gonna go ahead and cut that one too. It's just leaning over, and then that Rebecca can really get the limelight. So hopefully I'm in the camera for you. Let me get my glasses on so I can see. So right here, perfect area. What is that? I don't know. I'll cut it. I leave the roots in the soil because they have created a relationship with the microbes. And when you pull them out, you pull out the goodies too. So that one's, boy, that's a tough one. So I'm just going to leave the roots there. They will deteriorate on their own, and there's no need for me to take them out. So I'm going to loosen up the soil here. It's moist, thankfully. And now some people will have you, can you see past this? Maybe I should get back a little bit further. All there is a post there. I don't need this post. And I will also trim back this Veronica. This is perfectly Picasso. And this is dead stems in it. Not dead, but the flowers need deadheading. So that's all good. So yeah, this needs some cleaning up anyways. What's down there? I'm not sure what that is. It looks like something I would want. So we'll wait and see what it is. Something coming up from seed. Back there, okay. More zinnia cutting back. Alrighty, here's the sprinkler. So some people, in some areas, it's wiser if you're planting in the flower bed with all the other flowers to mound up the soil and then plant your iris on top. I don't have to do that. I do not have a lot of rain, a lot of any summer moisture at all. So I can just plant level with the ground. So that's what I do. So everyone differs, so there's no one size fits all, which I often tell you when I'm doing anything with gardening. And get all the debris out of there. And let me see which one is Main Street. That's the lovely senior. Okay, this is my Main Street. Now I should let this soak for half an hour. So just pretend it has. And then I just put where this roots, which these ones are not too long. I don't have to cut them back. A lot of times I will trim them off. And I just put it in there. And I don't always cover the backs, but if it's going to be hot like it is today, I will. Now, the first rain, it'll wash down. So basically, that is how I plant the, oh, that's a weed. Okay, that isn't something, that's something I don't want. Got it. So I will turn on the sprinklers when I'm done planting, and then this will get well watered. Now these ferns, I don't want in here. So that is the one. Now I got to figure out where I want to put this idol in place of Senorita. Since it wasn't a color I really wanted, I'll just go plop it someplace that isn't taking up precious space. That sounds terrible, like I don't want it, but that's not what I meant. Okay, I'm still cutting back on this Veronica because it needs it. So, okay, I said I was going to show you, I'll let this soak before I go plant it out in it. And I will also, what I would do here, just to add, is pour a little of the organic rev around it, and that'll help it to establish. And I'll make sure that's in the water. All right, let's find an iris that needs some cutting back. This is going to have to be short and sweet. That sun's coming around, and it's hot today. So you see how this iris, all these leaves are lying down. Now this has been out or, absorbing sun all summer long. So I don't have to worry about cutting the leaves back now. So these ones that are flopped to the ground, I'm going to trim off. Anything that's yellow, faded, or maybe looks diseased or bug infested, none of these look that way. I just cut them off. Now I could cut these off also for the winter. so that because they'll just turn mushy, and I gotta pull up the strawberry and stuff. So I would have to cut them off come spring anyways. So I just cut them off now. It tidies them up, gets them ready for winter. I don't have that harsh of winters. We do get heavy snow, but they fly right through that. Hopefully my head's not in the way. And these strawberries need to go. Now I do believe, I don't know which one this is. This is not my huckleberry fudge. This one over here is my huckleberry fudge. I do need to get the weeds up from around it. But basically that's how I clean up this one. I also will inspect, do I need to transplant? Now it looks like there's a huge clump right here that there's not a whole lot of growth coming out of. And here's a dead piece of rhizome. Now there's a little bit coming there. And I could dig that up and slice it off. Let me get my hodag and I can dig that up. Let me see this one over here. Get rid of that dead piece and divide this out. Now, I don't have to do that. It doesn't seem like it's struggling, but I can see that there's nothing growing from this, so I might as well get it out. And it could be pieces going further around. See, there's some dead rhizomes underneath. Now I'm going to pull this up and I'm going to try to cut it away from this piece over here. And so I just snap it off. And look, this little piece is still down here. It can continue growing. And I can cut this piece off, plant it. This has nice roots on it, so this one might put out a baby, but I don't need it. See a little roly-poly in there eating. Now, anybody that says roly-polies don't bother anything, don't believe them, because they do. They eat things. So here, you can see this one was putting out new growth in this part. So if I planted this somewhere, it would continue growing. It may not bloom next year, but it would have new flowers or new, put on new growth. So same with this one. So that is how I will quickly and easily, without much fuss, divide off a portion that is not necessary and is past its prime. So it would just suck energy from the other one. So I'm just going to dig these roots up, not roots, but weeds, while I'm over here. Try to do things when I see them. Alrighty, all of this debris will go out to the chickens. And that, my friends, is pretty much it as far as planting my iris rhizomes. I make it quick and easy. I don't fertilize. Iris that you get from the iris farms are usually full of nutrients. They don't dig them up until they've absorbed all they can during the summer months via the sun. And usually they're pretty good about keeping their fields fertilized because they're growing them to sell. They don't need the nutrients during the winter. If you want to fertilize, which I rarely do, I just mulch my garden. I don't fertilize because the mulch, or the compost, I should say, it feeds the soil and the microbes in the soil. So it's good soil. Always feed your soil. Don't worry about feeding your plants because the soil will feed your plants. But when they're done blooming is when you should fertilize, if you're going to fertilize your iris rhizomes, because that's when they're building what they need in the rhizomes for next year's bloom. So that is when you fertilize your irises, not when you plant them. And I want to mention I have a video on bone meal. That's one of the main ingredients in tulip, daffodil, iris, bulb fertilizers is bone meal. And in that video, I tell you all about it. So go on ahead, I'll link it here and watch that video and you'll see why that is not a good way to go. All right, I'll see you in my next video.